Well, as it happens, our next two test topics both also have reasonable price tags. And we're going to start off with the Chevrolet Sprint. It's made by Suzuki. Now, the Sprint and its divisional stablemate, the Cavalier, are two of the mainstays of the Chevrolet fleet. But they've both gone through some changes lately, which means they're both due for an update. Last time we saw the Chevrolet Sprint, it was a high-mileage three-door mini compact being sold only on the West Coast. This year, Chevrolet decided buyers in the rest of the country might like to Sprint too. Now we also get the Sprint Plus, the five-door variant of the front-drive Sprint. Going from three-door to five-door, the Sprint Plus grew about 4 inches in both wheelbase and overall length. The result is 5 more cubic feet of interior room, just enough to make it a subcompact. Most adults can slide easily into the 5-door's back seat and even stay comfortable on short trips. Driver accommodations were already pretty good. Readouts on the Sprint are simple, however, a tachometer is now available. Air conditioning is optional, as well as a stereo and an automatic transmission. For power, the Sprint Plus gets the same 1-liter aluminum block 3-cylinder that comes in the 3-door Sprint. It makes all of 48 horsepower. But even with the 5 doors extra weight, that's still acceptable for its commuter chores. The Sprint Plus goes from 0 to 60 in 16 seconds. It's better in short distances. A 500-foot on-ramp run took 10.7 seconds with a speed of 47. The Sprint's brakes are okay too, producing straight stops with distances averaging 134 feet, noting some fade. Handling is also on par for a car of the Sprint's stature. The steering is accurate, though it feels a bit rubbery. Push the Sprint into a turn and you get only moderate plow, but it doesn't really like being pushed very hard. It might lift its inside rear wheel or even shed one or more of its plastic wheel covers. Otherwise, to the Sprint's credit, things do stay under control. Obviously, the Sprint Plus is happiest at moderate paces on city streets or suburban highways. With a 5-speed, it's EPA rated at 44 city, 50 highway. We managed a rewarding 45 on our 100-mile mixed driving loop. On the interstates, the Sprint lets you know where all the holes and pavement joints are, but the interior noise level is only 70 decibels of sound at 55. What can you hold against a 5-door car with a base price of $5,580? Even loaded, our test car's price was only $6,815. So as both Sprints arrive in the rest of the country, we predict a long and frugal stay. And here's a Chevy whose arrival was delayed for more than a year, the glitzy Cavalier Z24, the performance version of Chevy's smallest domestic-built front driver. Unlike most of its hatchback competition, the Z24 also comes as a coupe, and it's very unlike other hot hatchback performance cars. With its 2.8-liter V6 shoehorned in where a 4-cylinder used to be, it's more like a 60s muscle car. The multi-port fuel-injected V6 makes 125 horsepower and 155 pound-feet of torque. That means it goes faster than any Cavalier yet, taking only 17.1 seconds to cover the quarter mile at a speed of 80. 0 to 60 was impressive too, 9.5 seconds. What wasn't impressive was the way it got there. Lots of torque steer on hard acceleration, as you might expect. But it's also there on slight irregularities in the road surfaces as you accelerate even to moderate speeds. But the Z24, with its stiffer springs, shocks, and larger 14-inch tires, also handles the best of any Cavalier yet. Quick and precise steering and controlled body roll. There is some understeer until you venture too close to the limit, where plow comes on quickly. It's sort of like a government-mandated safety device that forces you to slow down before it's too late. On the inside, the Z24 also adds some pizzazz to the basic Cavalier. The Z24 comes with complete digital instrumentation. It even has an analog tachometer thrown in. Controls are well placed, except for the turn signal stalk that is too close to the wheel. The seats offer good all-round support, and all Z24s have colorful cloth upholstery. The rear seats on the hatchback are split folding, and there's plenty of luggage room, plus an optional cargo cover. The Cavalier Z24 is EPA rated at 19 city, 26 highway. We managed a great 26 with our 4-speed manual on our mileage loop. An automatic transmission is optional.
so it's not as nimble in the corners as some other small hot front drivers. But in a straight line, it's something else altogether. Plus, it's got flash. So as the latest addition to the Bowtie Brigade's hot rod corral, the Cavalier Z24 should also be able to bring home the bacon.
And before we sprint out of here, we'll give you our address once again in a not too cavalier a fashion, I hope. It's Motor Week, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117. That's Motor Week, Owings Mills, Maryland, 21117. And we'll see you next time.
Motor Week was brought to you by the Robert Bosch Corporation, makers of Bosch Platinum, the ultimate spark plug for American and imported cars. And by Prestone Antifreeze and Coolant. America goes with Prestone.
Studio vehicles courtesy of R&H Motor Cars and Heritage Chevrolet.